Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we will be talking about how new polls show that Joe Biden's campaign is crashing after 2 days ago the presidential debate occurred between him and of course Donald Trump on CNN. So as you may have know, or if you watched the debate live, you know that Joe Biden's performance was an absolute disaster 2 nights ago. Joe Biden completely fumbled. In the first 2 minutes, he had a moment where he just completely froze up and couldn't get his thoughts out. And he just appeared extremely incapable and incompetent for the job of President of the United States. Now, Donald Trump, on the other hand, didn't have his best performance ever, but still, it was just overshadowed so much by just how bad and how incompetent Joe Biden appeared as President of the United States. You know, such an important job where it really didn't even matter what Donald Trump did as long as he got his sentences out, because all voters will remember, and that's reflected in the polls about the debate, is Joe Biden's, incompetence and, lack of skill of debating during the debate 2 nights ago. So looking at this aggregate of polls, this comes from an organization that tracks certain polls, very select polls, that only the polls that they view as accurate and legitimate. So they don't really take many outliers. So what you see here, of course, is, this is when Donald Trump was convicted on 34 counts. This line right here, that's when Biden took the lead in polls. And then we see the June debate. That's the second line. And what do you see right after that? Biden led just right before the debate, just by a little bit. And then, after the debate, we see, the blue signals when Biden is leading, and then the red, when it goes under, signals when Trump is leading. You see, it went from blue all the way down to red. Today, in this aggregate of polls, Donald Trump takes the lead by 1.2%. Just 2 days ago, Biden was leading, and now, in an average of polls, Trump leads by 1.2%. So the debate was extremely influential on the minds of American voters. And this is only the beginning, right? We have only had 3 or 4, or very few accurate polls come out after the debate. And so we don't even have a full idea of how disastrous this debate was for Biden. But we already have signs like this. I believe it'll only increase. But Joe Biden is now trailing Donald Trump by 1.2%, just 2 days after the debate on Thursday. And these are some of the polls that created this shift towards Donald Trump. We see that Survey USA now has Donald Trump ahead by 2 points. Morning Consult actually has Biden ahead by 1%, which was very surprising. That's definitely an outlier. And then you have Data for Progress, which is a liberal Democrat, not funded, but Democrat associated. They're very associated with the Democratic Party. They sponsor polls for Democratic candidates. And this was really shocking because it showed that Joe Biden was now behind Donald Trump. This is unfavorables here. But let's see. But here it is. Biden versus Trump. We see that Biden is down by 3% against Trump. And again, Data for Progress is is an organization very associated with the Democratic Party. And even they now have Joe Biden down by 3 points. Additionally, this is from the New York Post. They sponsored a poll with an organization. Now, this is a stark contrast from before the debate and after the debate. So the dark signals the numbers before the debate. They conducted a poll not a few months ago, but right before the debate, June 25th. These polls are 3 days apart, people. 3 days apart. The dark bar graphs was conducted on June 25th. The lighter gray, June 28th. Before the debate and after the debate. You see, before the debate, Donald Trump was at 43% to Biden's 45%. Biden led by 2%. But after the debate, we see that Donald Trump takes the lead. But not just by a little. He now has 50% in this poll to Biden's 42%. 8%. He went from being down by 2 points to leading Biden by 8 points. 8% Donald Trump is now up by. That is so significant. I mean, that is a 10-point shift before and after the debate. And it makes sense. We typically regard debates as, interesting, tells us a lot about the race and how voters react, but we don't consider them, typically, general election debates, as election changing, as being so significant that it could alter the results of really any states, but, especially the entire election. But this debate was different because there has never been political analysts say that there has never been a debate where there is so clearly one winner, that winner being Donald Trump 2 nights ago. And, that's perfectly demonstrated in the question, who won the debate? 49% in the same poll say Donald Trump won the debate. 17% say Biden won the debate. 28% say no one. 6% say don't know. What difference is that? That's a 32%, difference between Biden and Trump. 49% say Trump won. 17% said Biden won. So the debate was clearly in Donald Trump's favor. He won the debate by a lot, and it is being perfectly demonstrated in the polls. And I do want to just show you guys just how little chance Biden has. I mean, before this election, before this debate, it was looking like he had very little chance. Looking at these numbers, I don't think that there are really any new numbers coming out from individual states. I think only from nationwide. But let's see. So there aren't any new polls in individual states after the debate. Again, nationwide there are, but not in individual states. But this is before the debate, these numbers. Donald Trump is ahead by Michigan. Biden won Michigan by 2.8% in 2020. He's ahead by a lot in Arizona. He's ahead by 4 in Arizona. Arizona voted for Biden by less than a point in 2020. And the list goes on and on, really. I'll bring up Pennsylvania here just because of how important it is electorally. Donald Trump now leads by 1%. Biden won it by 1.2 in 2020. So Trump leads in all of the swing states, and not only that, in many averages, he leads in Minnesota, he leads in Virginia. These are very Democratic states. So, Donald Trump just has such a high floor in the 2024 election, meaning he has a very high amount of guaranteed electoral votes. I would really argue that Georgia and North Carolina, states that are typically regarded as very much swing states, are really certainly going to be in his column. Looking at the polling and the trends, and especially in Georgia, the low margin of victory for Biden in 2020, I don't see how these could possibly stay with Joe Biden. That also goes for Texas, that goes for Florida, and many other states. And because of how well Donald Trump is doing in this election, Minnesota and Virginia and New Hampshire and Maine, states like those, and states like New Mexico, are going to be considered swing states, which ultimately, they're usually Democratic states, that in any normal election, those would be considered part of Biden's floor, but they're not because of how weak Biden is doing in this election. So ultimately, that brings down Biden's floor to just 191 electoral votes. You need 270 to win, and Donald Trump is so close already. He's already 19 electoral votes away. So as of right now, with Joe Biden staying the nominee, Donald Trump is almost guaranteed a victory, even if Biden does hang on in the Democratic states where he is still favored, by the way, like New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Maine. He's only at 225, and Nebraska second, 226, still well below Donald Trump. That means he would still have to hang on in at least some of the traditional swing states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada. But we already have numbers which show Joe Biden already down across these states. Donald Trump up across these states. All of them, in fact. Nevada, a few by a lot, like Nevada, Arizona, by a lot. But after this debate, we can only wonder how much Donald Trump is going to increase his numbers here. But looking at the national numbers, again, we don't have any new polls from statewide, but the national numbers look very heavily in his favor. He's gaining a lot of support among undecided voters, so that should really boost his numbers across these states, and I would not be surprised at all if Donald Trump carries all 5: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada. He basically did that in 2016, the only exception being in Nevada. So that would bring a very easy electoral win of 312 to Biden's 226. That'd be a higher electoral margin than even 2016. So thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe down below. It always helps out a lot. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. That's always interesting to hear. Drop a like again if you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.